Charles, you are the wind beneath my wings.
Oh, thank you, darling.
Thank you. I am not the technical one here.
I know.
I freely admit that. You know, we come up with these ideas and you make them happen. Like, how did this come about?
Believe it or not, it's all because of Anchor. Anchor has the tools. It lets me record, edit, and distribute right from the computer. Sometimes I do it from my phone. It's just as easy either way.
Wow.
Yeah.
We're on like dozens of platforms, though.
It's true. Anchor makes it easy to distribute our podcast on platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcast, and dozens more. It's everything we need, and it's all in one place. And you'll love this part. It's all completely free.
Oh, thank God.
Right. I use Anchor for pretty much every aspect of getting our show out there and into the listeners' ears.
That's amazing.
It is. And if you, dear listeners, want to get into the podcasting game, you just need to download the Anchor app or go to Anchor.fm to get started.
Maybe Anchor's the wind beneath my wings.
Hey!
Coming to you from the dining room table at East Barbary Lane, welcome to another episode of Full Circle, the podcast. A weekly visit to our home where we squeeze a few headlines through our decidedly queer lens and see what happens. This episode is brought to you by Decanted Jug Wine and all the rainbows of June.
I am your host, Charles Tyson Jr.
And I'm your host, Martha Madrigal. Welcome to the Full Circle table. Hey.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm good. I've finally got a regular night's sleep.
I know. It's weird because we're recording on a Tuesday when we would normally be releasing an episode on a Tuesday, but you were making the money all weekend. So
Right, yeah.
it was a busy weekend.
It's recital season, so all bets are off.
Yeah, I mean, yes. What is that? Something while the sun shines. Yeah, that.
Gather ye something.
Gather hay or make hay or
Hay.
gather wheat or I don't know. So we can make thank you for making money this weekend. How's that? I don't even know what it is.
I basically lived in a box in the dark for 3 days straight.
You did, but it's not like the first time that's ever happened.
No, it's not.
So, yeah. And they're paying you for it this time. So, hey, winning.
And what about you? You've been a busy bee too.
I am a busy bee. I'm a businesswoman.
You are a businesswoman.
I'm a businesswoman. I am. Yes, I'm running a conference that is happening in September, and just working hard, and stuff.
Yeah.
Stuff. I have all the Apple products around. I have the AirBook and the iPad and the phone, and they keep going off at me, and things are happening.
God forbid we get you an Apple Watch. It's going to be a whole thing.
Yeah, I couldn't even shoe shop today, which is what I was fucking trying to do, but it just wasn't happening. So it's fine. That's fine. I will get shoes at some point.
You kept going, ooh, God damn it.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it was no one's, it was the business day, but right. I was just trying to look. I need something like really snazzy that I can also stand for 12 hours in.
Exactly. We're trying to go for that nice balance of cute and comfort.
Right. Because 12 hours is just like the first half of the day.
Right.
But yeah, so there was shoe shopping and there was, work to be done. And it was beautiful last night. So it was a full moon. And we actually had a fire out on the patio.
We did. We even slow danced in front of the fire.
I know, that was nice.
It was all romantical.
Music and the fire and the moonlight and all that crap. It was fun.
Yeah, I stepped outside myself and was looking at us and going, look at this.
I know.
Chaw.
I don't know what they were thinking, but who gives a shit?
Exactly.
When they pay the mortgage here, we're good.
Exactly.
Come tell me what you think. Till then, Till then.
Even then, you can keep it to your goddamn self.
Well, no. Well, I mean, if they were paying the mortgage, I might listen to them for a minute before I told them to fuck off. But,
Fair.
Yeah.
Gotta be fair.
Yeah. So, anyway. What else? I don't know what other. We had the Tony Awards. We're going to talk about that a little bit.
Yes.
They didn't go quite the way I hoped they would, but not bad. Not bad.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to remember that the nominations themselves are historic.
Exactly.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, it's something.
Because even though my girl Camille was nominated for,
I know, I felt bad
7
about that.
things
because we know her, like we know,
right.
And she should have won something. I think
something,
but she was nominated.
She was nominated a whole bunch of times for the Tonys. That's saying something.
So that makes her a Tony losing
choreographer and director.
Who is that? Is it Billy Kelly that's like been nominated for the Grammy 4 times? And it's like, but I would introduce him when he would play at the bar as 4-time Grammy losing nominee Billy Kelly.
Right.
And I think he's the one that told me to do it that way. He's like, yeah, I lost the Grammy 4 times. I never won one.
Because that's not even shade, because we didn't even get invited.
Yeah. Why would we?
Exactly.
At some point, someone will invite us. Or, something will happen. Like, it'll be somebody that we know enough to, like, be invited.
Right.
And then we probably won't go. We probably won't go. Because was that the Grammys? Yeah, it was the Grammys. First of all, the Tony Awards are what just happened, but we're somehow sidetracked on to the Grammys. But there was like that corral. Like everybody we know would be in a category that would be in that huge room that they had before the Grammys.
Right.
That's where we would be.
Yeah.
Where I don't even know if they let you get up to pee. Like it didn't look fun.
No.
It had to be somebody we really cared about.
Exactly.
Like, okay, we'll suffer through.
For you.
I like it on the TV.
Yeah.
Well,
because you don't have to have on pants.
That too. That too. You don't. I mean, here you would there.
Well, that's
or
what I'm
something.
saying.
You have to cover your bottom.
Yeah, because they even yelled at Lizzo at a basketball game for having her ass out. So I'm sure at the Grammys they might have
I don't know,
an opinion.
Whatever. It's just I'm kind of fried.
It's been a day.
It has. It's been a good full day, but it's a lovely evening. It rained like hideously this morning, but that seems to have cleared up.
Yeah.
So the windows are open and
my allergies aren't kicking my ass yet, but I also took a pill, so
good.
Because
good.
Chaw.
Yeah, Claritin is your friend.
It's true. Well,
so let's do some good black news.
Yeah, we actually have some good news going on. So this coming Monday will be June 19th.
Right.
Which is Juneteenth.
Mm-hmm.
The official Independence Day of Black folks in America. The Emancipation Proclamation came out in January of 1863.
Mm-hmm.
However, there were still Black people in Confederate areas
who didn't get the memo.
Didn't get the memo. The memo did not come until June 19th, 1865.
Wait, what?
1865.
So we went from January of 1863
to June 19th, 1865.
Was this like Lincoln's walking tour? Like, did he have to personally go tell them each?
Kinda, because some 2,000.
That's 2.5 years.
I know.
Right? 63, 64. No, it's a year and a half. It's a year and a half.
Yeah.
That's 18 months.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So on June 19th, 1865, some 2,000 Union troops arrived in Galveston Bay, Texas. And the Army announced that the more than 250,000 enslaved Black people in the state were free by executive decree. So Juneteenth celebrates the day that the last enslaved people were freed in America. And what tickles me is even though the 19th is Monday,
Mm-hmm.
we're celebrating this year officially on the 17th, which is Friday.
No, that would be the 16th, isn't it? Something's fucked up here.
The 17th.
Okay. If the 17th is Friday, then Juneteenth is Sunday. So we're doing it on Friday instead of Sunday.
That's what it is. Sunday is the 19th. So
Yes.
Friday is the 17th when we're actually celebrating.
I was doing the math.
Thank you. You know, math is not my strong point.
And Juneteenth is also Father's Day this year. Or Father's Day is Juneteenth. Whichever.
Okay.
Yep.
My overall point of why that tickled me is that we made sure that we did not celebrate Juneteenth by then making black folks have to go to work.
On the next day.
On the next day.
Maybe.
Started off on a weekend.
Unless they work on Saturday.
Unless that's your day to work, in which case it is what it is, or you didn't go to work that day. But it's also a national holiday as of last year. So.
Oh, right. Well, so that makes sense. If they're going to, make it a Friday instead of if it's a Sunday, then you celebrate. Because that's what we do, like with the 4th of July. If it's Sunday, you get Friday or whatever.
The product of it being a federal holiday. That's why. Okay, you get a 3-day weekend. Work.
You're welcome.
Okay, I get it.
You're welcome.
But see, the other thing is now that it's a national holiday, then we got to look forward to the corporatization of it. How soon before we get ironic white sales?
Well,
on Juneteenth.
I don't think that's going to happen. I think we have enough problems without
I hope not.
ironic white sales. That will. Oh my God.
Is Urban Outfitters still a thing? Because they would do some shit like that.
They're already. No, I don't think. Well, I don't know. But they're already over the edge. I would just poke them more.
Exactly. We don't need more poking.
So that is cool. Juneteenth is coming up. So this will be the first episode probably that airs on Medway Pride Radio in the UK.
Yes.
So I am thrilled to say, yo, hey.
Oi.
Or that. Yeah, don't make fun of them.
I'm not.
Okay. Don't do that. Because, it's not okay.
That's like British for yo.
Is it?
Yes. Oi.
Oi?
Yes.
Well, oi then, I guess. That's weird. I can't do that. So anyway, welcome Medway Pride Radio listeners. We are thrilled to be here. And of course, you can still catch the podcast or catch up on the podcast anytime you want.
Yes. Anywhere podcasts are sold.
Right. Exactly.
And you can keep up with our goings on by visiting our linktree /Full Circle the Pod. You can go to all of our social, our Twitter, our Facebook, our Instagram, our TikTok.
All those things. We have all the things.
Yes. And if you want to, support the Full Circle the Podcast, you can do so through Anchor or through our patreon.com/Full Circle the Pod. Anyway, we got that out of the way. We're just happy to be here.
So, I was trying to figure out where to put this because I thought, well, maybe we'd save it for pop culture. But you worked a cool show yesterday.
Yes.
And you were really impressed with.
Yeah, I did
or Sunday.
I did a show.
It's Tuesday.
I know.
Time has no meaning anymore.
Exactly.
On Sunday, you did a cool show. Talk about the show.
Okay, so there is this wonderful dance group called Reckless Kicks. And it is a family-run organization, woman and her cousins and sisters, and they got together to create a dance ensemble of youth. And in addition to the kids being fabulous, they were the hosting company. There were several guest companies, all of which, with the exception of the one white girl that was dancing in one of the companies, it was all black and brown dancers, all very high quality performers, and the level of professionalism and it was just fabulous. I was so happy to have been a part of the production, and they were happy with the job that I did, and they had a full house, and I was so glad to learn about Reckless Kicks because I had actually never heard of them before.
How about that?
They've been in existence for 8 years.
Okay.
And this was their first performance in 2 years.
Well,
for obvious reasons.
Along with everyone else.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, yeah. Black excellence in Philadelphia. I just thought it was a good story, because all you hear about is the gun violence and how it's Larry Krasner's fault these days. So I just,
Exactly.
just thought I'd throw that in there. Yeah, there's other shit going on.
Exactly.
Trust and believe.
Trust and believe.
Yeah, so a strange loop.
Oh, yeah. So again, the Tonys were this weekend, and the favorite with like 11 nominations, A Strange Loop, won 2 awards. It won the big prize, Best Musical, and it also won Best Book. So that made me happy. And I really need to see the show because everyone talks about how fabulous it is and how groundbreaking it is. And because of the Tony win, Jennifer Hudson is now an EGOT.
Yeah, because she's a producer,
She's
right?
a producer of A Strange Loop. So she got her Tony. She's now an EGOT. And then I come to find out, I didn't know RuPaul was a producer. So RuPaul now has a Tony.
Because she was a producer.
Right. So that's a cool thing.
I had hoped L. Morgan Lee was going to win. She was nominated.
Yeah, for Best Featured.
I don't know what the
Best
category.
Supporting Actors.
Yeah, I'm not even going to pretend we watched the Tonys because we didn't. But she was nominated, which again that is historic.
It is.
But she did not win, but it won Best Musical. So cool. And we've come a long way that a trans actress is nominated for a Tony.
Exactly.
So yay, progress.
And as an aside, which I found interesting when perusing the interwebs. So Felicia Rashad won Best Actress in a play for Skeleton Crew. And the comment section was interesting. It was talking about how, above it all she seemed when she was giving her acceptance speech, and how she was just so like, they didn't say uppity.
Who was making this comment?
This was a bunch of white gay people.
Oh, okay.
It seemed. And basically it sounded like they were calling her uppity, and I was just wondering.
I thought that's what we liked about Felicia Rashad. She is above us all.
Thank you.
I thought that was the whole point.
It just was
that's
interesting
her whole demeanor,
to me.
like,
because, if Patti LuPone had given a similar kind of speech.
And they adore Patti LuPone.
Thank you. Would we be saying the same thing about her? I don't know.
I doubt it. I wonder what this... that's weird.
Yeah. I just wanted to point that out because it struck me as interesting.
It was yeah.
It was a comment thread of a post of Bruce Valanche's.
Oh, that you were... Okay, got
yes.
it. Got it.
And I noticed that was the general tone of the comment thread. Oh, Felicia Rashad, she just seemed so above it all. She just, I don't know, she just was so snooty when she gave... And I'm like, have you not ever seen her before? That's kind of her thing. She's a diva.
Yeah, kind of.
And
so what?
And she's not the only one. So it's like,
right.
Why all of a sudden it's a problem with... What could be the issue? What could be the difference?
Patti LuPone, stopped a performance, didn't she? Because they weren't wearing their masks. Wasn't that the last thing?
Yeah, we talked about that.
But let's jump. Whatever.
Yeah, it was during a talk back after a performance of Company, and she read some people for not wearing their masks
or not wearing them properly or something.
Yeah, she read them.
Something. Moving on.
So this is actually an interesting thing, and it's a sports-related item.
Well, yeah, I've got a couple sports-related things, but this is a good one.
Yeah, this is under good news.
This is, yeah.
So a young woman, Justine Lindsay, she's made history as the NFL's first openly transgender cheerleader.
Nice.
Which I thought was a very, very cool. She made the announcement on Instagram that
This is the Carolina Panthers.
Yes.
Cheerleading squad.
Yes.
So she's the first... Wait a minute. Oh, first openly transgender cheerleader in NFL history. For some reason, that was reading as hockey to me.
No.
I don't know.
The Carolina
It took
Panthers.
me a minute.
Yeah, she took to Instagram. She posted a fierce picture of herself in her little skimpy, cute uniform, and she's got a shaved head, looking all fierce. She looks like she's ready to like back up Black Panther.
Well, see, and here's the thing: she's the first one we know about.
Well, that's the thing. She might not be the first.
She may not be
trans cheerleader, but she's the first one
to tell them
who's open. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So she took to Instagram and said,
"Good on her.
Cat's out the bag. You're looking at the newest member of the Carolina Panthers Top Cats cheerleaders. As the first transgender female, I would like to thank the beautiful and talented dancers who supported me along the way, alumni, Top Cats family, and friends for your love and support. I would not have gotten to this moment in my life if it wasn't for the support." So congratulations to Justine Lindsay.
Yeah, more groups are being less traditional and even having men, because the gymnastics, I mean, the all of it is just so crazy.
Yeah.
You know. But the Panthers do have 2 men on their squad. It looks like it's a 30-person squad.
Yeah.
Good on her.
Exactly. Don't read the comments section.
Don't read the comment. Never read the comments section, children. Never do it.
Yeah. Nothing good will come of it.
Nothing ever good. No, that's where you found the people talking about Felicia Rashad. See? See?
Well, it was a comment thread from a post of someone I like, so I figured I was
I know,
safe
but if
there.
you would have just stuck with the story.
I know. It's my bad.
You wouldn't have been walking in the mud.
Yeah.
So a court has... I didn't pull it up. So, sorry.
I
was still looking at her picture. She's adorable.
She is adorable.
I was like, oh, how cool is
and
that?
And she's giving like cute Dora Milaje vibes, you know. I'm loving it.
Right? So, this was in The Advocate. A court rules against Greg Abbott's anti-trans investigations, which we did hope and see coming, but we hoped that, that would be the case, as trans-supportive parents were targeted by Texas Child Protective Services for allowing their children access to gender-affirming care. This jackass issued the order in February.
Of course, the ACLU and Lambda Legal, like we said, would happen.
So, a court granted a temporary restraining order Friday, which blocks the state's Child Protective Services from investigating PFLAG families that allow their trans children to receive affirming health care. Earlier this week, the ACLU, Lambda Legal, and the ACLU of Texas, along with Texas-based law firm Baker Botts LLP, filed the suit on behalf of PFLAG National. The Travis County District Court's ruling will stop the DFPS, the Department of Family and Protective Services, from investigating parents involved in the suit, according to a news release from the organizations. Families contacted by the agency will only need to provide information on their PFLAG membership. But it's temporary. That's
the only thing, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're hoping that this holds in the courts and gets overturned. These are so invasive and ridiculous and frightening to the families involved. And we talked about it earlier that even the Air Force was allowing transfers for those who were stationed in Texas and had trans kids to get the fuck out of there.
Right.
So, yeah, this is now the 6th time in recent months a Texas court has ruled in favor of transgender youth and their loving, supportive families. Weaponizing the child welfare system against loving families causes irreparable harm. Of course it does.
Of course it does.
So it's a temporary restraining order. Again, the courts are holding in Texas, and that was the thing. If you look back at the trajectory of all the bullshit that they have tried and failed with legislatively, that, the courts have overturned. And that's what made the governor do this bullshit in the first place. The attorney general and the governor kind of got together, and the attorney general issued some ridiculous statement, and Abbott followed up. And,
right.
They're bullies. These people are bullies.
Yeah.
They are.
Plain and simple.
Yeah. They're just bullies.
Yeah.
And, good that our system is holding so far. It doesn't every time and it doesn't everywhere, but, it is in Texas. So
we will take our W's when we get them, even if they're lowercase.
It's
W's.
good. It's a good ruling, but it's certainly not final. But,
Right.
that is good news for the families in Texas for sure.
And we have listeners in Texas, and we're getting more and more as we go. And we see you, and hold on, y'all, keep your head up.
So Lizzo just shamed pretty much everybody, I think. Honest to God, I love this story.
Yeah, Lizzo proved that decency is not that deep. It's not that hard. So in her new single, Girls, I'm saying it like it's spelled. Girls.
I'm not sure how you say that.
Girls.
Yeah, girls.
So apparently in the lyrics of the song, and I only just heard the song for the first time today, and it's cute, it's funky, I like it. But apparently the lyrics contained the word spaz.
One person tweeted and said, Lizzo, my disability, cerebral palsy, is literally classified as spastic diplegia, where spasticity refers to unending painful tightness in my legs. Your new song makes me pretty angry and sad. Spaz doesn't mean freaked out or crazy. It's an ableist slur. It's 2022. Do better.
And Lizzo was like, all right, my bad, I'm sorry.
And re-recorded the song.
Yeah.
Like immediately re-recorded the song.
Yeah. Traces of the lyrics to that song with that word in it are gone. They are scrubbed from the internet.
And, Lizzo basically said, like, look, I've been fat and black my whole life, and I overstand the power of words. And I love that word right there, overstand. I overstand it. Mm-hmm. And she fixed it.
Yeah.
She fixed it. It's fixed.
Wasn't even that deep.
Nope. That quick.
Yeah.
One person. You know what? You're right. This is not okay. And it's fixed.
That's all that. And see, that's the example of how that should be done. She didn't make a point of putting the word.
Well, that's not what what I meant.
Right.
She didn't say that.
She didn't make a point of putting the word in every song that she came out with from that point forward.
Right. She didn't have Dave Chappelle come out and do a set. Like, she didn't do any of that.
Right. Have Dave Chappelle guest on one of her songs.
Right. And talk about why,
Right. Exactly.
Everybody needs to be less sensitive. Nobody did that.
Nope.
Nobody did that. She went, you know what? You're right.
Yeah.
And I'm going to fix it. And she fixed it.
Yeah. And that's the kind of reaction
Go, Lizzo.
that we expect from Lizzo because she is a beacon of inclusivity. Like, we were watching her.
What a positive force.
We were watching her show, Big Girls.
Big Girls.
It was basically a competition show on Amazon Prime, Amazon Video, where she picks the dancers for her tour. And one of the big girls that she picked is a trans woman.
Yes, she is.
Jayla Rose Sullivan.
Right.
And, there was no kind of tokenism or anything because my girl could buck. She could dance her ass off. And now she's doing it around the world for Lizzo because Lizzo saw her. She saw her talent.
So she's in her. Yeah.
She's touring.
She's touring.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's amazing. It says the big girl dancer to watch. I thought she was like still in competition or something.
No. Just.
And I can't open the link.
She's fierce.
She is fierce. And it was really fun to just watching. We watched the first couple episodes.
Yeah, the couple, 2, 3, yeah.
When she was, and there was at least one that she put straight through.
Yeah.
She's like, you already danced for me. You're wonderful.
Yeah. There's no point in bullshitting.
Yeah. And while it was like a competition Olympics, again, back to I hate competition. I liked the way it was done, and I loved her attitude and how positive she was with everyone. And,
right. Well, that was less of
good for Jayla.
That was less of a competition show as it was just an inside peek to the audition process.
Well, yeah, yeah. I mean that's fair. Yeah. But they gave them some time, right?
Yeah.
And
it was a non-traditional audition process.
Okay.
But there was none of like the competitive cattiness among the girls.
Right. I'll have to watch the rest of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we only saw like 2 of them, but I liked it.
I've heard nothing but good things about it.
So Lil Nas X, Bussy could be added to the dictionary.
Lil Nas X wins the internet yet again.
He's amazing. He really is. According to Out, Lil Nas X tweeted about the word on Friday, telling followers, "I finally said bussy in a song, and I have never been happier." 2 days later, he called for it to be added to the dictionary. For Pride Month, it's really important that our government finally takes a stand and adds bussy to the dictionary. I'm assuming this is boy pussy.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's not a new word.
Dictionary.com caught wind of the tweet and replied saying that they could potentially make the addition happen. We added WAP, capital W-A-P, which means wet ass pussy.
Yes.
To the dictionary, so anything's possible, they wrote. And the rapper shared Dictionary.com's response with glee. "Wake up," he told followers, "we might be getting bussy added to the dictionary."
Yep.
Good for him.
He did it again.
Why not? What the article says. So the article's in what, Blavity?
Yes.
I just caught the word blends the words boy and pussy to describe the anus. Out reports that while the word has made its way to larger audiences, it has existed for years.
It's true.
First, online uses of the word trace back to 2007, when the Urban Dictionary users uploaded the word and defined it as a slang term used by gay men to connote boy pussy.
Yes.
The anus. That's just funny. It's just funny. I'm sorry, it's funny.
Yeah, I've been hearing that word for me. I personally am not a huge fan of I've never used it myself, but I giggle when I see it.
Right.
And there's a queen who does.
They're all mad too because he called out BET.
I'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
There's the queen that did the expose on the Drag Race contract.
Mm-hmm.
Calls herself Bussy Queen.
Really?
Yeah, so I'm like, wow, we managed to get that as our name on YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, black folks are trying to shade Lil Nas X and say that he's too gay. And my favorite was, you need to focus on the music and not so much on you're going overboard on the sex stuff, I believe is what they said. And I'm like, motherfucker, there is a hit song that I know you like literally called Wet Ass Pussy, but he's going overboard on the sex stuff. Can we just say we don't like gay people and just,
Well, yeah, that is what they're saying, but yeah.
Just...
We've never heard this before.
Stop bullshitting.
Just don't rub our faces. Don't shove it down our throats.
Yes, don't rub it in our faces and shove it down our throats.
The imagery. Ooh. Always with the imagery.
Irony.
Yeah. So, do you have a 15-minute fave this week, or is there an album you'd like to?
No, I actually just have one.
Just the one this week.
One came up this time.
That's fun.
Yeah. So,
go ahead.
Panic at the Disco has a new single out, Viva Las Vengeance. And, I was listening to it and I was transported back to 2005 when they first came out. And I was just like, he can sing and he's so cute. Because it's the same thing.
Is this Brendan Urie?
Yes.
That you're talking about? Okay.
Panic at the Disco used to be a whole band.
Uh-huh.
Now it's just him.
Oh.
Which is fine because I only cared about him anyway.
He was the only one you were looking at anyway.
That's it.
Then how do you know there's not a band behind him?
Because I looked it up.
Oh, okay.
It's just to him. But
okay.
And I still can't believe he's not gay.
He's not. Are we sure?
He's got the gay face and the hair, and he does the drama and the costumes and the, but he's got a whole wife. Not that makes you straight, but
well, okay, but he might also like women.
He might like women too.
Yeah, we don't know his life that way.
Exactly.
I mean, This speculation has nothing to do with the song, I imagine.
No, it doesn't. I love the song because the song is good. And usually my indication for choosing a 15-minute fave is if I hear it for the first time and then I immediately play it again, and then if I click rewind one more time, listen to it a third time,
then it's a fave.
It's a fave.
Okay.
So we're gonna go out to break with a little bit of Panic at the Disco's Viva Las Vengeance.
Let's do it.
We'll be right back. Let's talk about Newsly. Newsly is an audio app for iOS and Android. It picks up web articles about the most trending topics on the web at any given moment and reads them to you in a natural human voice. For the first time in the history of the internet, the entire web becomes listenable. Browse articles from topics you choose and start playing. Stop scrolling, start listening. You can literally follow any topic as specific as you like, from sports, science, to Bitcoin, the latest in queer news, or even the Kardashians. It will find you the latest articles and read them to you aloud. And they have podcasts as well, including ours, Full Circle the Podcast with Charles Tyson Jr. and Martha Madrigal. Explore trending podcasts from over 50 countries. I started using it as my default podcast app, and it's pretty cool. Download and use Newsly for free today from www.newsly.me, or follow the link we posted in the description of this episode and use promo code FULLCIRCLE with the numeral 1 replacing the I. That's Full Circle to receive a free 1-month premium subscription.
And we're back.
We're back.
Mama got a full beer. It's a beer kind of day.
It is a little bit.
Yeah. And the decanter jug wine is, in fact, on the kitchen table, but I felt like a beer.
That's fair. You're allowed.
Who said last night was supposed to be a strawberry colored moon? And then somebody else said, no, it's tonight. And so I was talking to one of my friends today who said, so was the moon pink? And I'm like, no, it was a beer-colored moon, kind of.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It actually was.
Yeah, literally and, yeah.
Literally, figuratively, and participationally.
This is when I drink beer in the summer, really more than. I don't like it when it's cold as much.
That's fair.
I'm not saying I never drink beer, but
I was going to say, girl. But yeah, you do drink more wine in the
I like red wine
in the cooler months.
Yeah, when it's cold out.
Yeah.
It, helps the blood move. So, I guess it's time.
Yeah, we put it off long enough.
It is time for the cavalcade of nonsense.
Woohoo.
Yeah, We're gonna try to just zip through these, and we only have a few, but I have lots to say, so this could take a little while. So apparently, sometimes alumni get to speak at like high school graduations. Mm-hmm. It doesn't always go well.
Assuming that this person didn't mess it up for future people. So,
I hope they did.
Yeah,
I hope they did, because, yeah, apparently, you know how they really monitor the students that are going to speak at graduation, and they parse every word, and they have to read their speech, and they have to stick to the speech that was approved and all this other nonsense normally. Apparently, if you're an alumni and you get up to give a speech because you were asked, I guess, you can say whatever the fuck you want.
Well, they can't hold your diploma over your head.
Well, there's nothing to hold over your head, I guess. But, right, there's nothing to hold over your head. But why have them? I don't know how often this happens, but in Ohio,
yes,
a high school graduation speech.
Yes, in Caledonia, Ohio, at River Valley High School, alumnus Jim McGuire gave the commencement address. And in his address, he said to the graduating seniors, "Choose a spouse, I suggest. I also strongly suggest to make sure to choose biblical principles. You know, a male with a female and a female with a male."
Yeah, this is a fucking public school, high school graduation, right?
Right.
Right. Okay. Continue.
This motherfucker went off book. So basically...
Wait a minute. Caledonia, an hour north of Columbus, has a population of 560.
Right.
That's the population. That's not this graduating class. That is the population.
So like a quarter of the population is graduating today.
Of
probably.
Caledonia. Or less.
Oh my goodness. So luckily the people in the audience were rightfully taken aback by these remarks. One person said she looked around and he made the comment, and her jaw dropped to the floor, and they honestly thought they were hearing it wrong. And I had to look around and see if other people were having the same reaction that I was, and they were. Mm-hmm. So there was a bit of an outrage. People took to Twitter and said, one Twitter user said, he made himself the center of attention instead of the graduates and their accomplishments. He should take his ignorant views back to the 1950s.
For real.
Indeed. It's like, first of all, what does this have to do with graduating high school?
Nothing.
Why are we talking about picking a spouse? First of all, you're saying...
What is interesting here is he's a business owner and a board member of the Marion County Board of Developmental Disabilities. He can say whatever the fuck he wants, but he says, my speech was not anti-anything. There was not a negative word or statement in speech to anyone or organization. Being positive is who I am. Mm-hmm. However, apparently the Marion County Board of Developmental Disabilities is considering his continued board membership. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's not a member of the staff. He's not a representative of the school. I think they're going to have to really reconsider.
Yeah. Vet these people a little bit more.
Yeah, speech was never reviewed. I mean, my point is, if you're going to let somebody get up and talk to your graduates, you should want to know what they're going to say.
What they're going to say. Thank you.
And then, assuming he was as above board because he doesn't think he did anything wrong, he would have handed them the speech as he delivered it, and they would have said, this is not okay. And of course, he would have been all big mad and said, I'm being censored. But fine. Yeah, do whatever, of course. Anyway, that happened. I feel bad for those kids.
Yeah,
especially the queer kids. Yeah. That, there might have been two. I mean, how big could the class be? I don't know. Maybe it's an area high school.
Maybe, yeah.
But, yeah, it doesn't matter.
Their day was marred by his nonsense.
Yeah, 1 in 10, folks. So there were at least 2 people who were really hurt by this if it was a class of 20. I don't know how many people there are, but...
Exactly.
And it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. This has your religious views have no place in a public school commencement. They just don't.
Period. You want to talk about Rebel Wilson?
I do, actually. I do. Yeah, so a gay columnist, I think that's important here, for the Sydney Morning Herald, gave Rebel Wilson 2 days to comment on a story about her relationship with a woman. And and then he got kind of whiny because she went ahead and came out and I guess killed his story. But he has removed the column.
Good.
But some people are slow. And Andrew Hornery is one of them. He's slow. He finally apologized. Because everyone else saw this as him forcing her out.
Right.
And this dude and the newspaper like bent over backwards to say, well, that's not what we were doing. Mm-hmm. And if, she was in a relationship with a man, it would be the same thing. We'd ask her if she wanted to talk about it. It's not the same thing.
No,
it's not the same thing.
And you of all people should know better.
He really should. He said his email was not meant to be a threat, but he could see why it was seen as one. Could you? Good for you. In his initial column, he writes about his disappointment with Wilson. He wrote that the paper had emailed her representatives on Thursday morning, giving her 2 days to comment on her new relationship with LA leisure wear designer Ramona Agruma, or Agruma. I'm not sure. Big mistake. Wilson opted to gazump the story.
Oh, you mean tell her own
business
on her own terms?
Yeah, because you kind of did force this.
Yeah.
She happily fed such prurient, I don't even know what that word is, interest when she had a hunky boyfriend on her arm. Right. And now that it's a woman, that's the story and you fucking know it. You know it.
Yeah.
And then he's trying to defend himself, and he's like, well, she would be unlikely to have experienced homophobia, and sexual orientation is no longer something to be hidden. And it's not yours to expose, jackass. It's not yours. Her personal life is her personal life. Everybody gets a personal life.
Yeah.
And, I'm sorry. There is a very narrow set of circumstances where I actually think it is wholly appropriate to out someone.
Right.
And that is if you both hold a position of power and use that position of power against the community.
Right.
When you are an active member.
Right.
So if you fuck us at night and then you legislate against us in the daytime, I do absolutely support your rent boy coming forward.
Right.
I absolutely do. I see a narrow set of circumstances, a narrow set. And same thing with preachers. You are condemning us to an entire flock of people, God, however big your church is, every Sunday, but you're sleeping with us, you're hiding it, you're a huge hypocrite. I have no problem outing you. Right. I really don't. I have no problem outing it. But again, if you have a position of power and you use it against queer people or any of us, you use it against the community while you sleep with us. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I have no problem outing you. Other than that,
right?
Nobody's business. No. Nobody's business. Of course, we encourage people to come out, but it is not our business when or how or if a person comes out.
Right.
You're not hurting us. We're not hurting you. You can, live and let live. But these people seemed to double down. The editor, Bevan Shields, said the paper did not out Wilson, but simply asked questions as standard practice, including a deadline for a response. Raphael Epstein, an ABC radio host, wrote on Twitter, we just asked the questions. What exactly do you think she would have thought when you asked the questions? Disingenuous, low-rent behavior. How would these journalists and editors feel if these questions were asked about their private lives?
Exactly.
And I do agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
And there used to be...
gossip columnist who's like all annoyed.
Right. There used to be this unwritten rule in Hollywood, and we're talking like the golden age of Hollywood in the 40s and 50s. Basically... you show up to the events, you smile for the pictures, and they leave your private life out of the public forum. There was, it was your business is your business, and we won't tell. It's like that's not what we're trying to do. We're just trying to
right. She didn't actually choose this. This was not the weekend she had chosen to come out.
Right,
and it really was informed by this newspaper saying, you have 2 days to respond.
Yeah, so like it's like blackmail.
It kind of really, yes, it was. And it's an openly gay man involved. I'm assuming they're talking about the columnist. If not, then they're talking about the editor. But I believe it's the columnist who's gay.
Not that it really matters.
I'm pretty sure about that. Yeah, no, I am right about that. Because he wrote that as a gay man, he was aware of the pain of discrimination. And he regretted that Rebel has found this hard. Do you know?
Really? That sounds very much like, I'm sorry you feel that way.
Yeah, he thought Wilson would have been happy to discuss her new love, but we mishandled steps in our approach.
Yeah, you did.
No shit. And when he emailed her representatives, he said, I have enough detail to publish this story. And it's basically saying, I'm writing this story no matter what.
Whether you like
Does
it
she
or not.
want to comment on it or not?
Right.
That's basically what he did.
We're going to tell this story with you or without you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's like, and then he went on to say, I'm reaching out to Rebel to see if she will engage in what I believe is a happy and unexpected news story for her, especially given the recent Pride celebration.
Who the fuck asked you?
My deadline is Friday, 1 p.m.
Who the fuck asked
you know, he finally went on to say that his framing was a mistake.
A little bit.
Yeah, no kidding. We will approach things differently from now on to make sure we always take into consideration the extra layers of complexities people face when it comes to their sexuality. Yeah, I mean, well, he's a gossip columnist, apparently. I got it wrong. He finally said he got it wrong. And, you know.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
And it's interesting when we were, when I was reading this article, I came across another article about 8 times queer celebrities were outed by their own allies, even though I don't know if I would have used the word allies. And more than a couple of the instances were gay people doing the outing. And more than once, it was Perez Hilton.
Oh, that piece of
shit.
Extra, yeah.
Oprah Winfrey was another one.
I was going to try to say excrement so that they have less editing to do across the pond, but I've already said fuck 6,000 times. So, you know, sorry.
Sorry, y'all.
Sorry. Yeah, we have to remember we're also on the radio now.
Right. We are who we are, damn it.
And well, that's the truth. And yeah, and I don't know how you read this shit without cursing.
You know?
I don't know how to. Because, like, I would have to just ignore the noise. If I can't, you know.
But yeah, like apparently...
But yeah, sorry for all the work, guys. Love you.
But like apparently Lance Bass was outed by Perez Hilton. Neil Patrick Harris was outed by Perez Hilton.
Yeah. A self-loathing faggot who went after whoever he could. Yeah, he was terrible. He was really terrible. Does he have a career anymore? I don't know.
The last time I heard his name was he was on Celebrity Big Brother. I believe it was Celebrity Big Brother UK, in fact.
Really?
And
maybe he had to move there.
He was, let's say, unpopular in the house.
I would imagine.
Michelle Visage was another one of the celebrities in that house, and she wanted to physically harm him, she said.
Yeah.
On more than one occasion.
Yeah.
But yeah. Just why do we have to be so tacky, basically, I guess is my question.
I don't know.
But the whole business of being a tabloid journalist has gotten just scummier and scummier as time has gone on. You know?
Yeah. I'm sitting here reading the thing about Barbara Walters because she basically tried to out Ricky Martin.
Right. And he was like, I don't feel like talking about that right now.
Declined to take the bait. But, you know, yeah, she really... People feel like they have a right to the intimate details of queer people's lives, and in particular trans people's lives, because we're not human.
Right.
We're other. We're different. We're not, you know. So, of course, they can ask us, you know, whatever they want and discuss whatever they want. And, hey, aren't you all supposed to be out and proud? And then they don't want it in their face and stop shoving it down our throats. It's like, you know, it is this no-win game we play.
I mean, at least people like Oprah have realized how problematic that is.
Absolutely. And gotten much better. Yeah.
Right.
Well, and Katie Couric did a good job with that.
Yes.
She did a good job with that because she asked really inappropriate questions of Carmen Carrera and then Laverne Cox on the same show.
Right.
And and she decided to do better, and she owned what she did and what she said, and asking about someone's genitals.
Yeah.
Daytime television or not, whatever, it doesn't matter when it was aired, is it's inappropriate.
And I think with Oprah it was Janet Mock, I believe.
I think it was.
Yeah.
I think it was. Yeah. I had well, as you know, a younger gay man professional who we know, who had met a very good trans friend of ours, and probably innocently, I guess, said, "Have they had the surgery?" And I said, "I'm going to give you an answer that is always the answer. It's none of your fucking business."
Right.
That is always the answer. Unless you want to sleep with her and you think there's a real possibility of that, and she wants to sleep with you, it's not your business.
Right.
And his boss at the time happened to be a woman. And I said, "Why don't you go ask her how low her labia hang? And let me know how that conversation goes."
I believe he got the point of that.
He did. He said, "Point taken."
Yes.
I said, "Well, I mean, if you think it's okay to just randomly talk about, you know what I mean? I had a professional relationship with him too, so I didn't say, and just how big is your dick? Yeah. Are you a shower or a grower?"
Right.
Circumcised?
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's just talk about it. I mean, we are never going to sleep together, but let's just talk about your dick right now.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is this not comfortable for you?
Right, and this is a man who it would not be comfortable with, because I know plenty who would be like, "Well, let me show you," but that's not who this was.
Different conversation.
That's a whole different conversation. Yeah. But yeah. So it's just like, if you wouldn't ask a cis person, or you wouldn't ask a straight person,
right?
Don't ask us.
Right.
And Google's your friend. We're not here to teach you.
It's free.
It's free.
For now.
Right. Right. Yeah, Neil Patrick Harris. There's a story here. And then there was also, wait a minute.
Oh,
Nathan Lane.
Yeah, Nathan Lane.
That was Oprah.
Yeah.
That was Oprah, 96.
Mm-hmm.
Went on to promote the Birdcage. And he said he didn't want to talk about his sexuality, but when the cameras were rolling, Oprah asked him about it anyway.
Yeah, that was tacking.
Thankfully, his co-star Robin Williams quickly intervened, speaking to The Hollywood Reporter about it last year. Lane called the whole experience terrifying.
And then there was the Clay Aiken incident with Kelly Ripa. I remember this.
Okay.
Where the rumors had been swirling around, and apparently they didn't like each other any damned way.
Oh.
And there was a moment where
I can see that.
Right. Where he put his hand over her mouth.
Oh, yeah.
And she said, "I don't know where that hand has been."
Yep.
And I remember that when it happened, but then I didn't realize apparently part of the rumors was that Clay Aiken enjoyed fisting. So that's what that was a reference to.
Oh.
Yeah, I was like, okay, I used to like Kelly Ripa. I was like, I
don't know where that hand's been, honey.
Right.
Yeah. Wow. A few days later, Rosie O'Donnell accused Ripa of being homophobic on The View, saying Ripa wouldn't have made the remark if it was a straight man.
Right. So then she ended up.
And the truth is, Rosie kind of outed him. Rosie did out him, really.
But she was trying to come to his defense when she did it. Yeah.
He wasn't out yet.
Right.
So, again, right, she didn't mean to I really don't think she meant to do it. But she said, if that was a straight man.
Right.
Assuming, obviously he's not. So, yeah, nobody behaved well. It's sad.
Right.
It's sad. And he said, her confirmation that she knew I wasn't straight. That was the worst day of my life. I mean, that's really hard. If you are not prepared to come out, you know, new to fame and stardom and all of it.
Right.
And, you know, it's not a thing you're comfortable with. And again, this is 16 years ago. Yeah. How awful.
Yeah.
And I've seen incidents of that, you know, too often. We need to be a little more careful.
Yeah.
We need to be a little more careful about how we talk about, especially our friends who, you know, when we know that they're not out or we know that they're struggling, friends, family members, you know, whether you know something or not.
Mind your business. Just mind your business. It's
not your story to tell.
Right.
Unless they happen to be a Republican politician and then tell away.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's where I am.
I think that's fair.
I do too. So there was a poll in the Washington Post. You know, there's nothing earth-shattering here, really. It's most Americans, the headline, oppose trans athletes in female sports. Poll finds. Mm-hmm. You know, I want to, here's where I want to go with this. Who the fuck cares anyway? What most Americans, like, who cares what they think? The poll was conducted May 4th through the 17th among 1,503 people across the United States. 55% of Americans are opposed to allowing transgender women and girls to compete with other women and girls in high school sports. 58% are opposed for college and professional sports. Yeah. At the youth level, 49% are opposed to transgender girls competing with other girls, while 33% said they should be allowed, and 17% have no opinion. Louisiana last week joined 17 other states in banning trans women and girls from competing on female sports teams. Much of the legislation across the country has been passed, led by Republican lawmakers. The Louisiana ban, which applies to all public and some private elementary and secondary schools and colleges, became law after the state's Democratic governor declined to sign it or veto it. Polite whites, I guess, sitting on a fence. Look it up, but I'm guessing this is a white dude or somebody who, whatever. But yeah. So, you know, it does go on to talk about the fact that, you know, there was a Pew Research Center poll released on June 7th, finding that 0.6% of Americans identify as trans. But among people 18 to 29, the share rose to 2%. An additional 1% of Americans say they are non-binary. So that means 3% of people 18 to 29 identify as trans.
Right.
So a 2021 Gallup telephone poll found 0.7% of adults identifying as transgender, while a slightly larger percentage identified as gay, 1.5%, lesbians, 1.0%, bisexual, 4.0%. And again, that we've talked about why that number's climbing.
Right.
Or another non-hetero identity is 0.3%. So, you know, critics say, among athletes, the controversy has centered on transgender females in particular. Critics say they have an unfair physical advantage against cisgender females because of factors such as generally having a greater muscle mass, larger skeletal frame, bone density, and testosterone levels, which can help boost athletic performance.
Well, basically,
and I've heard them more recently about, you know, that there are some women, I believe they were particularly African women, who had a naturally higher testosterone level,
right,
bone density, size, mass, and, you know, they were trying to say, well, and these are cis women,
right,
not doing a damn thing. They're cis women. That's how they're made. And it takes me back to the Michael Phelps argument.
Right.
That man is built like a fucking fish.
Yeah.
And nobody screamed that was unfair.
Right.
When that was actually unfair.
Right.
if suddenly everybody's got to be equal. But since when? Since when? Right. Do you know what's unfair when you're talking about kids in the playground? You know what's patently unfair to me? To me, the kids who have a coach for a father.
Right.
A coach with like nothing but free time to run drills with his kids and play catch with them incessantly and make them really, really good at sports, where some of us had nothing like that. I never learned to play sports. I had nobody to teach me. Not really.
Or not to mention, you know, if your team is in a neighborhood that is more affluent and has more resources and equipment and things, playing against a team that has none of those things.
Well, right. That's not fair.
Right.
Everybody doesn't have the same stuff.
Right.
Yeah. It's not, you know, there are inherently big differences when people get together and play sports. Why don't you stop keeping score? Especially among kids. Why do we need a scoreboard? What the fuck is that for? Give them all a trophy. Teach them how the game is played. Teach them the skills they all need. Let them practice them, but maybe not make them so cutthroat. Then we have no argument, do we?
And we need to
grow up.
We need to stop pretending that women's sports is all of a sudden this big national conversation, like people gave a shit about women's sports.
Right, and if you care so much,
along.
Right, then equalize the funding. How about that?
The only people that care about women's sports are the ones who cared about women's sports anyway. Let's just call this what it is. We want to discriminate against trans people, and that's
what it is.
That's the crux of the entire thing.
But
you know,
that is what it is. But when you say something like, well, then equalize the funding. Give the girls just as much as you give the boys. Let's equalize it.
Yeah.
Yeah, how about that?
Slow your roll.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about that. It's not what we're talking about at all. You know, and it bothers me, you know, first of all, these bans way overestimate the number of trans girls and women even participating in athletics, for one thing.
Right.
There have always been trans people in sports, but you know what? They were stealth. And that's what this is insisting people be, stealth.
And then these tired arguments about, you know, about advantages.
68% of Americans say transgender girls would have a competitive advantage.
Right.
If they were allowed to compete with them in youth sports. 30% do say neither would have an advantage. 2% say other girls would have an advantage. What are they basing this shit on? Well, that's just how I think because I saw it in the news. And
right.
I now have an opinion on trans people in sports. Never thought about it. Never cared.
Know nothing about how hormones work.
Right. Or how they affect the body over time.
Right.
You know, like Leah Thomas, we can exhaust this to death, but I mean, she had to prove 3 years.
Right.
On hormones, low T, high E. Yeah, that does have a big impact on the physiology of a person. And she's not that great a swimmer.
Right.
She won one race.
Right.
One. She didn't sweep. I believe she competed in 3. She lost 2 and only won 1. And they want to talk about how she didn't deserve that win. Mm-hmm. And the win really goes to the cis girl behind her. I'm sorry, but this is such bullshit.
It is.
Yeah, what else? You know, there is part of the poll that says greater social acceptance of trans people is good for society. You know, the more you know us, the more you love us. Bullshit like that, which is true. I mean, that is true.
It is true.
But, you know, there are people like, you know, I can say if you're listening right now, well, now you know a trans person. I can say that. You do. If you're listening to my voice now, you know about me.
Right.
So, but you know, if you were intentionally obtuse and intentionally ignorant, there's nothing I can say. And that's the way it goes.
Well, that's the thing. It's all this. People they just want to be comfortable. They don't want to be challenged. They don't want to think too hard. So if you let the talkie box in the living room do your thinking for you, like Fox News, okay, I'll just do what they say and think how they think, and I don't have to do anything. I don't have to like go out into the world and experience actual people.
And a lot of these polls, which is always true, have to do with the way the questions are phrased.
Right.
So, different polls get different results because the questions are asked differently. There was a May 2022 survey conducted by SSRS finding 59% of Americans say they oppose banning trans girls from participating in K through 12 sports, while 41% support a ban. So, that's even greater support and probably has everything to do with the way that they phrase the questions.
Right.
They went on to talk to somebody whose opinion I don't give a shit about. I have trans friends, but biologically they're built like a man. So,
yeah, shut up.
Yeah. They would probably have an advantage in winning. What the hell? Why is it all about winning?
Right.
Why? And this is the thing. I mean, fine. I guess that's what sports ball is. I don't know why. It's probably why I've never liked the shit. That and I was never asked to play. But, behind all of that, everything you tell me, all the coaches and all the proponents and about the teamwork and everything you learn from participating in team sports. Well, what are you teaching these kids that you're saying aren't allowed to play? What are you teaching them? What are you telling them about themselves? What is your message? Go away, you little freak. I mean, it's the message we've gotten our whole lives.
Right.
And you're just reinforcing it again in 2022.
Yeah.
And then, some of them want to fight puberty blockers too, which really does level the playing field, kids.
I mean, the overall lesson appears to be conformity is the only path to success.
It's almost like you just don't like trans people.
Well, or anything that is not crammed into the cisgender, white, heterosexual Christian box.
Yeah, kind of.
Anything that is not.
Kind of. Yeah, so I don't know why we did the poll. I don't know why we're asking public opinion on, the topic at all. Because what does that change? What does that change? What is the amount of prejudice toward a certain segment of the population? Why does that form anything?
It doesn't really.
I mean, I'm sorry, but that didn't used to be how we decided civil rights in this country.
Shit.
No, I mean, yes, it was a hard fought, but I'm saying we didn't because it was, let me rephrase that. It was how we decided civil rights up until the point where we realized how wrong that was. And then we said, well, we have to step in with laws and we have to step in with the Supreme Court. And no, we're not going to let this be a state by state thing to determine people's civil rights. We seemed for a minute in the 60s to have learned from our past mistakes. And I thought as a society, and I grew up in the 1970s, and 80s. And I thought, civil rights weren't supposed to be up for debate in this way.
Right.
But we're the group now. We're the group now and our humanity is being debated every day. It's like, well, I'm not talking about your humanity. I'm talking about your muscle mass. Really? No, you're not. I don't believe you.
Once you start othering someone, you start questioning their humanity.
Right.
Like, period.
Right. And the thing is, they're not using evidence. Every trans athlete is not dominating their sport.
No. They're just there.
Most of them aren't.
Right.
Why isn't that news?
Because it doesn't further the narrative. Exactly.
And you'll notice none of them are talking about trans men because that also doesn't. Well, we can't really other them because then our arguments don't hold.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
But we're the ones with an agenda.
Yeah, I know. It's interesting to me.
Yeah.
It's just interesting.
People just need to fucking get over themselves.
Well, I mean, that would be nice too, but it's really dehumanizing, especially to these little, I'm old, I can take it. But these children are dehumanized just when shit like this is published. Well, I don't get to be human today. Right. I don't get to play today because a bunch of politicians decided they know more about physiology. And I'm not saying, there shouldn't be some maybe considerations at the college level, but in high school, in high school, right? In elementary, first of all, in any conversation pre-puberty is nonsense.
Oh, definitely.
It's nonsense. But, and again, if trans kids, if we let them come out and we give them affirming care, they're probably going to be at least on blockers.
Right.
And so your argument goes away. It goes away. And, if we let kids transition and follow them through and they get the proper care and then by the time they're in college, they don't have this perceived advantage at all. And it's not a perceived advantage. Women kick men's asses routinely.
Yes.
In a bunch of different sports. It happens.
Yes.
Where there are women who are more powerful, stronger, faster, and find the sport where they excel. And they are better than any man.
Right. But if you just say...
But we don't talk about that
to the
either.
other children, just be better, then you're the asshole.
Or something. Or something.
It's like... Sports change, the rules of sports change over time. They evolve over time. The standards change over time. But, the underlying thing has always been, you just got to be better. You just got to be better. Why is this different? Fucking be better.
Well, and that's the thing. Again, just because you say someone has a perceived advantage, you have not proven it. You've proven nothing. And again, when, I think it was Newsweek that looked at the last 10 years of the races Leah Thomas was in, and she would only have won this race like 2 out of 10 years. Right. Because every other year there were women faster, natal women, cis women faster than the time she won with this particular year. Mm-hmm. And yet people are losing their shit. Losing their absolute shit. And we're having these national and international debates to dehumanize trans people. That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
And, it's not based in fact. It's not based in empirical data that cis women are being hurt out on the playing field because they're playing against trans women. That's not the data. Just like there's no bathroom data.
Right.
We're not dangerous. We just want to pee.
Well, all these people who probably never got anything higher than a C in biology in their fucking lives legislating against...
Suddenly they're all biologists.
Right. It's the same thing as people that have never had and never would have a uterus legislating against reproductive rights.
Yeah.
Come on now.
How about that?
How about stay in your own lane?
Well, yeah. It's it's some of my best advice.
Stay in your own fucking lane.
Stay in your lane. Stay out of mine. But, I have even heard trans people turn around and say, well, that's all I'm saying. We should have our own teams. Oh, yeah. Separate but equal is always great.
Mm-hmm. Worked out well.
Who the frick are we supposed to play with or against? Because how many trans kids are there on one given team? 1, 2, maybe 3 at the most.
You'd have to have.
I mean, it's just who.
Every game would have to be regional just to have enough people to play.
Yeah, it's no, that's not a solution.
Right.
That's not a solution. This is a chance for us to examine our humanity.
Right.
Toward one another. That's what it's a chance to do. Let's talk about our humanity.
Exactly.
Instead of manufacturing all this nonsense to be afraid of. Because again, the evidence says otherwise. In most cases. I'm not saying there's no evidence out there. Maybe there is. But we're not hearing about it. And I would think we would be. Mm-hmm. And almost every time they cite us, a story about us, they get the facts very wrong. Very wrong. They tried to say, there was a boy a male who identifies, I believe, as non-binary and was wearing like a kilt to school and had gone into the bathroom for the purpose of having sex with this cis girl.
Yeah.
And the first time they did it, it was all consensual. The second time, I don't know if the act was completed. I don't remember the details. But it was, I guess she said stop. And they may have stopped or they may not have. But the point was, this was not some stranger in a bathroom pretending to be a girl there for the purpose of assaulting a cis woman. That's not at all what happened.
Right.
Not at all what happened. And yet, the story has been repeated by right-wing politicians and right-wing media ad nauseum as an example of men dressing up as women to go into women's bathrooms to assault women. That's not what happens. Mm-hmm. You're afraid of men. That's who you're afraid of. You're not afraid of trans women.
Right.
You're not afraid of non-binary people. You're afraid of cis men who do this shit. And they actually don't need they don't need to put on a dress to commit sexual assault.
Right.
If you're paying attention.
Well, like I said, it's that whole thing about how people that lie, cheat, and steal always think everyone around them is going to lie, cheat, and steal because that's the mindset that you're coming from.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm not going to say that the women are the ones running around and sexually assaulting, but there are women who have bought into the narrative, and they're the ones who are afraid.
Well, then that gets into the whole patriarchy and
it does. Some of them say that they are afraid, but are their fears legitimate? No, they're actually not.
Right.
Are their prejudices real? Absolutely.
Right.
Are they being fueled by men? Of course they are.
Right.
And if men are saying men can't be trusted, I agree with you.
Right. Because you'd know.
I agree. I actually agree with you. A lot of men cannot be trusted. Yeah, you're right. Some of y'all can't, distinguish what is and isn't sexual assault. Can't do it. Won't do it. See no reason to do it. And it's been, a lot of you have gotten away with a lot of shit for a long time.
It's true. It's true.
But, pointing to us, it's just like we're the groomers and we're the pedophiles. No. The facts say otherwise, y'all. The facts say it's actually coming out of your churches and your Boy Scout troops and your sports teams.
Yep.
That's where the grooming is happening. Yeah. But, back to the days of Anita Bryant, we're the ones getting blamed.
Oh, yeah.
For the shit that they do.
Mm-hmm. And not to mention, and this is just the way I think, when the politicians spend all this time, money, and effort getting everyone to look in the same direction, makes you wonder what they're really up to over here. You know what I mean?
Oh, well, of course.
Something's coming.
Well,
because that can't be the end game.
I gotta say that. Well, it's the end game is staying alive, to stay in power, and they can only use fear to do that because they have no governance, they have no policy, they have nothing worth having, and everything they do is in discord to the majority of Americans. The majority of Americans want sensible gun control. The majority of Americans don't think we should be legislating against queer kids. The majority of Americans are absolutely in favor of Roe staying in place,
right,
and reproductive freedom, absolutely. And yet they keep playing to this tiny little fearful base.
Mm-hmm.
It's that's why vote.
Yeah.
November 8th, I believe, is election day in America. Vote in the midterms.
Vote.
And, really, so the hearings started this week. The January 6th insurrection hearings started.
Yes, they did.
And, by all accounts, they have more information than any, they really have a clear picture of how bad this was, how ugly this was, how close, they came to being successful with this nonsense or more harmful with this. And it's scary. Yeah. The whole thing is scary, but it does look like there should be some serious ramifications. So if you take these hearings and the politicians who were involved with them,
yep,
and here's a hint, they're the ones that are off the rails crazy and just say all the nonsense.
Yeah.
They were most likely involved in a big way and should be in jail. They should be.
Yep.
So when you take what happened January 6th, and you couple it with the legislation, coming at us, attacking us, dehumanizing us across the country, and you add to that the attack on Roe, and I don't think it's come down as of today, but we're expecting a decision any minute, really, from the Supreme Court, and in all likelihood, nothing is going to substantially change from that draft. They're trying to gut Roe, which guts privacy, which the base that built Roe built a lot of laws. Gave us gay marriage, gave us interracial marriage, gave us the right to contraception, all those things. So they can all now be challenged, and that is, more toward what you were saying. That is part of their end game, is to come after more than just abortion.
Oh yeah.
And so vote like your lives depend on it.
Because they do.
Because they do.
Yeah.
And, I don't, I saw some commentary recently, because we need the activists who just want to burn it down. We need them too. We need the people who are out, carrying the signs as much as we need the people working from the inside to try to make change. We need the people who sit at the table as well as the people who, stand outside and scream. We need all of that. But they were saying something like, well, like liberals just say, vote, take your energy and vote. No, do all of it. Do the protesting, but yes, vote.
Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely protest in what you feel is the most effective way possible, the best use of your time. Absolutely do it. But pay attention to their game too. Because like I said, we were not talking about CRT in 2019. We had, the Black Lives Matter, the protracted protests of 2020. It hasn't brought us police reform or, better gun control or, better policing. It has not brought us sweeping legislation in any regard. It has brought us a lot of propaganda about teaching Black history in school. That's how they work. Mm-hmm. That's how they operate. Let's take away the books. Let's take away the discussion. Let's not teach them about racism in the first place. Because look where it ends. I'm sure a lot of them were frightened, looking out at the streets in 2020. Mm-hmm. But that has yet to bring us substantive change in terms of the laws regarding policing, in terms of holding police accountable.
Right.
I mean, in some places it has. In your more liberal blue, areas of the country, it's brought some change. But it also brought us this propaganda. Suddenly everybody's using the phrase critical race theory wrong, but they're using it.
Right.
And suddenly we don't need that in our school. You're making people feel bad for their white skin. Well, maybe they should.
Well, that part.
You don't want the pictures of your grandma screaming the N-word to be shown to your children. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. Maybe grandma should have done a better job.
Right. Yeah.
If she doesn't like the way history is painting her, maybe she should have been different.
Yep. If you don't like the way that you're being written about, you should have behaved better.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we take one more quick break, and we'll see if we can't wrap this up with something positive, because, I've had enough nonsense.
We'll be right back.
Hey everybody, I'm Amber.
And I'm Maddie.
And we're Witches Talking Tarot. And we've brought you a show all about the occult.
We're talking different lores and mythology.
Yes, creature features, cryptids, aliens, you name it, we'll cover it.
Conspiracy theories.
Absolutely.
And pagan holidays and
100%.
practices.
All 8 of them. Yes.
Spiritual living, you name it.
That's right. We've got it for you. So if you want, come sit with us for a spell and let us make you laugh.
We are Witches Talking Tarot.
Thanks, everybody.
And we are back.
We're back.
So you sent me a list from Queerty. So I have always been a fan of full frontal male nudity, television, movies, you name it. Mm-hmm. I think it's ecumenical. You know what I mean? We've been showing tits all this years and years, and I think it's only fair. And plus, I'm a fan. But I'm a fan.
It just cracks me up every time I try to get you
is
to
there
watch.
Dick in it? Well,
Yes.
Is there dick in it?
That's the thing. I'm like, let's watch this movie. Is there dick in it? Probably not. Can we just watch the damn movie?
Because sometimes that's the fun of like bad television, is at least there's a dick.
Right.
It's like, okay, well, so that makes it fun. And it's not even always a good dick, but it's like there.
Yes.
So then I have something to talk about.
And it's like,
anyway,
my liking of the thing has nothing to do with how much bare penis is in the thing.
I know. And
however,
porn is free and da-da-da-da. Okay.
I will point out when I know that there is something that has full frontal nudity, because I know you're a fan.
And I know
I'm going to end up watching it anyway.
And I just want
it's coming.
I want to go back to like Oz and True Blood.
Oh yeah.
2 series I think made better with the amount of peen. I think they were better as a result.
I mean, it didn't take away from Oz. I'm not going to say that it upped the quality of the show, but it definitely didn't take away from it.
Take away nothing.
No, it did not. Did not.
I think it's fun. I don't know. But anyway, so Queerty put out a list of the 6 things streaming right now,
something like that,
with full frontal, and so I started on the top of the list with Minx.
Yes, because everyone has been talking about Minx.
Yeah, apparently. I've only seen
Minx has 4 letters. Dick has 4 letters. You do the math.
That's true. Apparently, there's a mix of prosthetics and real dick, and you just kind of have to figure that out. So there are also hard-ons. So I think they're probably mostly prosthetics, but I don't know. Because you know how boys get. But I've seen 2. I'm intrigued.
Okay.
It's okay. It's it's annoying so far. I'm not going to call it brilliant yet. I'm not. But there was a lot of dick in the first one.
Okay.
A lot.
Well, the whole prosthetic penis thing.
I think there was one prosthetic though. I'm pretty sure.
It came to popularity in the movie Boogie Nights when they
and that was so clearly a prosthetic.
Yeah, when they gave Mark Wahlberg a prosthetic so that he could, because it was supposed to be about John Holmes,
right,
who was notorious for having 13 and a half inches, and I don't know what Mark has or doesn't have, but anyway, so
it ain't 13 and a half inches.
Once we realized that prosthetics were the way of the future,
yeah,
HBO ran with it, because there's been I don't even know. Like, HBO is notorious for having the most peen in their shows, and they also have a lot of
it's cable, they can get away with it, but they're right. Usually if it's an erection, it's not real.
Oh, right.
It's probably the truth.
Yeah. But
then they try to be all, well, you figure it out. But so there was, by my count, but I was also doing something at the time, but there was one in like the first episode, and it didn't look real to me, because he was like, the dude was naked a lot in the, so you saw his dick a lot, and then suddenly it's kind of a different color.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm like, I don't think that's real.
Is there no makeup department in this show?
Or it's picking up light, but maybe it's just picking up the light differently, but it looked much lighter than I remembered his dick being in just a scene before. So I was like, that's weird. They usually don't get lighter.
I feel like this whole chunk of conversation is not going to make
I'm
it to
just
the
saying,
UK.
I think it will. I think they just might have to bleep certain words, but I mean, I will say this, the very light-skinned men that I have had the experience of seeing them in various states, I don't think that I've never seen one get lighter. Pinker, redder, what, like purple even, but not never like lighter, like suddenly two shades. It was odd to me. But, so I think that one's fake. I think. But anyway, I will continue to report as I work my way down the list. I don't expect to, make it all the way through a lot of this crap, because sometimes it is just bad. And, estrogen has helped or hindered my, whatever.
Well, one of the things on the list was the...
Now it has to be a good show and have dick in it. Because there was a time when I was just like, oh, God. But... Tell me you were not also the kid... the first time I saw the VHS of... was it Wild Things? With...
Kevin Bacon.
Kevin Bacon coming out of the shower.
In the theater.
I admit I rewound it. I played it again. I stopped it and I rewound it and played it again and rewound. Because that was there's that one little quick scene.
Yeah.
But
we saw that in the theater.
Where okay. Well, there you go. And you couldn't rewind in the theater.
We were just like, oh, did you see that? I saw that.
Mm-hmm. It was real quick. But if you had a VCR, it's like, oh wow. And so you I'm just saying. There's more of it now than there was back then. And, it's interesting. It's interesting.
I'm just shaking my head
but again,
at Martha right now.
well, but I'm saying, with, time and hormones, I'm just like, okay, well, it has to be worth watching as well, or fuck it. No.
Fair.
Okay, fine, there's dick in it, but...
Which is what
What poor writing. And I never thought I would say that. You
because
have.
9 times out of 10, if there's a movie that you want to watch because it has dick in it, the movie is horrible.
They usually are.
The budget was $43 and 17 of that went to parking and pizza.
And I am more of a fan of, kind of integrating nudity into art than you are, because you will often say, well, porn's free and you don't have to wait for it.
Well, I don't mind nudity in the art.
I'm not saying that you don't mind, but I mean, I don't know. I think I find it intriguing.
That's not going to be my main draw.
Sometimes. There was a time when it was probably my main draw.
Yeah.
Well, there was also plenty of time where I wasn't seeing a lot of dick. You know what I mean? So that's how I saw it.
Fair. Fair.
Yeah. So it was like, ooh. Looky there. And times have changed. So this is more of a science project. This is just research because you sent me the link. So think of it as
for science.
I'm doing this for science. I am. Yeah.
Oh my.
Anyway, I'm a couple episodes in. It's all right. That's all right. I haven't formed an opinion yet.
Sure.
I haven't.
Well,
I don't think they should be allowed to use prosthetics, though. Either show it or don't.
Fair.
Show it or don't.
I mean,
because in lower budget shit, that's not a prosthetic. You know what I mean? Nope, that's it. What was that one? It's Theo and somebody, Paris at 5:56 a.m. or something. It's a weird title.
What?
It was made with $3. I believe it is a French film. And it's the two guys. The whole first scene is in a sex club. And they are naked the whole time. And there's all these dudes with hard-ons and they're all, variously engaged for the first 15 minutes of the movie. That's it.
Yeah.
And it's real. First of all, I don't believe there was any money for prosthetics. It is a lower budget film, but I was like,
they barely had money for lights.
Oh my! Oh my! There's oh my!
I believe that's what I was saying. Oh my!
Did you see what he's doing to that man? Oh my!
Oh my!
Yeah, there's a lot of that in the first whole 15 minutes of the movie.
Where did that just go?
I know where it went. Yeah, so no, there are art films that are much more graphic than HBO and real.
True.
I don't know why you need an art department. What's the point? Anyway, that's me. Show it or don't.
Anyway,
I saw 2 episodes. It's like, okay.
I'll
stick with it for science.
For science.
So is Legendary over for the season?
Yes, the finale was last week. Congratulations to the House of Juicy Couture for your win.
Did we not say this in the last episode? I thought we did, but
the episode hadn't aired yet.
Oh, really? Okay.
Or no, it was the night we recorded.
Oh, so then that's right. And then you went on to watch it.
Yes.
And they did win.
Yes.
Yay, you and your prediction.
Yes. It was the final 2 houses were the House of Juicy Couture and the House of Yoji Yamamoto, who were the underdogs of the competition. And I will say, if we weren't taking scorecards into account for the whole season, right, Yoji Yamamoto gave them a good run for their money. They really wanted it
in the finale.
Okay, but Juicy Couture wanted it more. They were flawless. It was fabulous. Oh, good. Okay. And the first Kiki house to make it to the show, and first one to win, and
a Kiki house is a less established house,
right? It's the younger set basically. Before they're basically getting into the scene. They're not quite ready for the mainstream. So this is houses. The farm team, or what is it? Minor leagues, or. I mean, now we might start thinking of it that way.
Or is it just that they are newer on the scene?
They're newer and younger.
The people are younger, yes. or the house itself is younger. What are you saying?
No, the participants are younger. They are the younger members of the community.
Okay.
And they form their houses.
Do they graduate to other houses? Or?
Well, as they gain prominence in the Kiki scene, the folks in the more mainstream scene start to pick them out and they join their houses.
It is like the minor leagues.
Right.
But they're competing on Legendary
as a Kiki house, which is.
But they don't only compete against other Kiki houses.
No, it was them, and there was another Kiki house. I believe the House of Ada was a Kiki house, and. Okay.
And are these people who would ever in real life compete against the older established houses, or it's a completely different ballroom scene?
Typically, it's a different ballroom scene. There is some bleed over, but typically it's 2 separate scenes.
I mean, Legendary's not real, so they can do whatever they want, obviously. With HBO money,
it was a very good season.
Cool.
It was a very good
I'm
season.
glad you enjoyed it.
Yes.
And I'm glad your people won the thing. Yay.
Yes, they did.
Yay.
And I'm still in the middle of this season of Stranger Things. It's good. It's interesting because when the show first started, they were all young kids. One of the main characters, he's still his adult teeth hadn't come in yet. He had a space in the front where his baby teeth fell out. That's how young they were. And now these kids are teenagers, and we got to take into account their teenage angst and shit.
Okay.
It's really good. So on top of them having to go through growing up and their teenage angst, we got monsters living under the fucking town. It's
wow.
It's good. It's good. It's a good show. And
so is there dick in it?
No, there's no dick in it.
I'm just kidding.
Winona Ryder's acting her ass off, though. But I mean, of course she is, because it's Winona Ryder.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Why not?
Yeah.
Where do they shoot that? Do you know?
I'm guessing California.
Okay, just wondered.
Yeah.
I was kind of just wondering if incidents of mopping have gone up since she went back to work.
I think it's still called shoplifting when straight people do it.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's what she's been convicted of, I think. But yeah, it wasn't mopping. No, well, yeah, anyway. I just wondered if she's still doing that or she's got that under control.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, it's good as any.
All right, let's get the hell out of here.
I just,
We're devolving into nonsense.
it's just a thing. So did anybody win this season of Drag Race where nobody goes home? Is that over yet?
No, we're only, I don't even know what episode.
I don't care.
You would actually like the most recent episode.
Every time you say that.
Well, I mean,
every time you say it.
Well, no, because
you're wrong.
It was very clever. The challenge this week was they had to deliver commencement speeches, and each one of them like gave their own little point of view to it. Like Jinx, who's so damn brilliant, her whole thing was she was at the wrong school, so none of her original speech was going to work for where she was, so she had to go off book. It was deep. It was good.
Okay. Maybe you shouldn't give away all the
Well,
spoilers because I'm sure somebody else will want to see it now.
It's good.
Yeah.
I love this season of All Stars, and like unless they like start digging deeper into the cast, I might have to stop watching after this season because I don't watch main seasons.
That's true.
And there's like 4 or 5 seasons that I haven't watched. So if they start pulling from those casts, I'm not going to care because I'm not going to know who these queens are.
Right.
But this season is great because it's all winners and everyone is so talented.
Everybody wants to be a winner.
Everyone's talented. So it's like
I hear that.
No one's bad. There's no clunkers.
That
Everyone's,
would perhaps make it more interesting to me.
Yeah.
And I don't even make RuPaul fracking jokes. That's you. I don't even mention that.
Well, because,
I'm just saying, and then you watch it like it's a problematic thing.
I love the queens and the artistry from the queens.
I know.
I have become decreasingly. My love for RuPaul is getting a little lower and lower each coming year.
You mean
because
Tony Award winning RuPaul?
She has a Tony.
She has a Tony.
Yeah,
she does.
I mean, just because that bitch is rich don't mean I gotta like her. She's not a good person.
I mean, I don't know.
Her business sense is killing the game, but
I know that one unfortunate little thing she did on Netflix. That was terrible. I was
AJ and the Queen.
I don't know if this person has a soul.
Yeah. Oh, that's another reason why I
Can't
want you to
even
watch.
Act like.
I want you to watch the new episode of Drag Race because I want you to see the outfit she walks into the workroom wearing, and it's just like. It's like someone put it on her in the hallway.
Okay.
Because she's just not carrying it at all. It's just like on her. Like when she tries to portray like humanity and warmth, she can't really carry it. It's just on her.
Yeah.
Yeah, this outfit. I'm just like...
Well, that was my whole assessment of that. That was like a mini series, wasn't it?
Yes.
What the hell was it called? Somebody and the Bee or the Angel and the Queen and the something?
AJ and the Queen.
AJ and the Queen. That. And I said, RuPaul is a person who wears things.
Yes.
Puts them on and takes them off.
Yes.
Yeah. Not a great actor.
No.
Smart as hell business person, obviously.
Yes.
And then there's all the problematic stuff about the contracts and all that. And
yes.
It's just a mess.
Yeah, she's apparently not a very nice person.
Yeah, but it's indicative of our entire community. But y'all still watch this nonsense. It's and
she couldn't act like
he's a terrible person, but he's our terrible person.
I didn't say all that.
I didn't say you did.
But yeah. That's the thing. I can't watch her act because she couldn't convince me she was falling if I pushed the bitch down the steps myself.
Well, right. Yeah, that's how it's problematic. So has anybody emailed you to be your friend and watch TV with you or not yet? I'm going to go with not yet.
Not yet.
Okay.
Ask Full Circle Pod. askfullcirclepod@gmail.com.
Yes, Charles would like television people to watch TV with.
For you to ask us questions, possibly give us suggestions for topics for the show, or just general, whatever. Or if you want to, suggest movies and TV shows to talk about.
Yes.
askfullcirclepod@gmail.com.
And I just want to thank the folks at Medway Pride Radio who just listened to this episode and bleeped out all of the cursing.
Yes.
God loves you all.
It's true.
And she wants you to be happy.
Yes.
And,
as do we.
And again, welcome to everyone in the UK. And please use that email address and let us know what you would like us to talk more about or less about, or if you'd like to watch TV with Charles.
I mean, we may or may not take any of your suggestions.
Yeah, I
please
can't
give
promise
them
that. But if you'd like to, please feel free to email.
Yes.
Somebody might read them.
Exactly.
In the meantime, I want to say thank you. I am Martha Madrigal.
And I am Charles Tyson Jr.
And you have been listening to Full Circle, the podcast. We'll talk to you again, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Full Circle is a Never Scared Productions podcast, hosted by Charles Tyson Jr. and Martha Madrigal, produced and edited by Never Scared, executive produced by Charles Tyson Jr. and Martha Madrigal. Our theme and music is by the Jingle Berries. All names, pictures, audio, and video clips are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of their respective copyright holder.